Hey guys, my name's Nick Kurdiak, and I decided to do my senior capstone project on the soup kitchen. I chose the soup kitchen because it was something that I was already familiar with since I had done it many times before with my family. And I worked with Caitlin Malum, as she is the one who runs the organization, and it was such a great experience, and I just believe that it's something everyone should do at least once. To those who might not otherwise be able to afford them, soup kitchens have been around for centuries and were traditionally run by religious organizations or private individuals who wanted to help their communities. Today, soup kitchens are often run by non-profit organizations, government agencies, or community groups. The nature of soup kitchens varies depending on the specific organization and the community it serves. In 2010, Lincoln Park United Methodist Church started a TV dinner ministry. This consisted of serving TV dinners to anyone who was hungry and ended up serving an average of 35 TV dinners a week. Then one day, Catholic Charities reached out because they wanted to open a soup kitchen on the south side of Flint. After much discussion with the Catholic Charities and several church council meetings with the members of the Lincoln Park UMC, it was decided to begin a collaborative relationship with the Catholic Charities to open a soup kitchen in the basement of the church. On January 11, 2011, they held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the first day of the soup kitchen. In 2012, a collaborated with several other churches who would serve a pancake breakfast on Saturday once a month. They now have a pancake breakfast every Saturday of each month, and they serve a healthy meal 27 days a month, averaging around 31,000 meals a year. They also serve as a resource center where we can direct people to other organizations for additional services. The first Catholic social teaching that I thought corresponded with the soup kitchen was the life and dignity of the human person. The Catholic Church proclaims that the human life is sacred and that the dignity of the human person is the foundation of a moral vision for society. This belief is the foundation of all principles of our social teaching. They believe that every person is precious, that people are more important than things, and that the measure of every institution is whether it threatens or enhances the life and dignity of the human person. This theme shows a soup kitchen is often a place where individuals who are experiencing food insecurity can come to receive a meal. Providing food to those in need is an important way to preserve their life and ensure that they have access to the basic necessities that they need to survive. My second Catholic social teaching was option for poor and the vulnerable. A basic moral test is how our most vulnerable members are faring. In a society marred by deepening divisions between rich and poor, our tradition recalls the story of the Last Judgment. Instructions us to put the needs of the poor and the vulnerable first. This theme shows soup kitchens are typically established to provide food assistance to those who are experiencing poverty or other forms of vulnerability such as homelessness, unemployment, or illness. And lastly, solidarity. We are one human family, whether our nationality, racial, ethnic, economic, and ideological differences. We are brothers and sisters. And this theme shows soup kitchens can be seen as a concrete expression of solidarity, as they provide tangible support to those who are experiencing food insecurities and other forms of vulnerability. For scripture, I decided to choose 3 Bible verses which I felt corresponded to the soup kitchen. And my first one is Proverbs 29:7, and that states, "The righteous care about justice for the poor, but the wicked have no such concern." And this act of providing food assistance to those who are experiencing poverty or other forms of vulnerability can be seen as an expression of the righteous care about justice for the poor. My second one is Exodus 23, verses 10 through 11, and that states, "For 6 years you are to sow your fields and harvest the crops, but during the 7th year let the land lie unplowed and unused. Then the poor among your people may get food from it, and the wild animals may eat what is left. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive grove. By allowing the poor among the people to get food from the land during the 7th year, the passage recognizes the inherent dignity and worth of all people, regardless of their social or economic status, and highlights the importance of ensuring that everyone has access to the basic necessities that they need to thrive. For my third verse, Leviticus 19, verses 9 through 10 states, "When you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field, or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Do not go over your vineyard a second time, or pick up the grapes that have fallen. Leave them for the poor and the foreigner. I am the Lord your God." This emphasizes the importance of caring for the poor and vulnerability, and of sharing our resources with those who are in need. The saint that I thought represented the soup kitchen very well was St. Francis. St. Francis of Assisi was an Italian Catholic friar, preacher, and mystic. He was widely recognized as the patron saint of animals and the environment. Born into a wealthy family, he initially led a life of pleasure and luxury before undergoing a spiritual transformation that led him to renounce his worldly possessions and dedicated his life to serving God. At the age of 20, Francis joined the army and fought in several battles. However, he was taken prisoner and fell ill during the battle, which led him to reconsider his life and seek a deeper spiritual purpose. He experienced a vision that called him to serve God and rebuild the church. He subsequently renounced his wealth and began to live a life of poverty and simplicity. Francis founded the Franciscan order, which emphasized poverty, humility, and service to the poor. He also established the Order of Poor Ladies for women who wished to follow his way of life. He traveled extensively, preaching and ministering to the sick and the poor. And my experience at the soup kitchen was definitely something to remember. It was a great experience, and it's something I believe everyone should do. It's very exciting to help these people. When I was doing my service there, I helped many people out throughout the day. Whether it was giving them clothing or food, there was always something to do and someone to help. Making a difference in people's lives is the greatest thing you can do. These people deserve another chance at life, and it starts with them getting a sustainable food source. And letting them know that they are welcome here is a big key as well, because many of these people are scared and they don't know where to turn. Just talking to them and hearing their stories is great. And I decided that the best way for me to help the soup kitchen was to run a food drive, and I ran a food drive through our school's hockey team and had many people outside of that. I raised a reasonable amount of perishable foods and some fresh food since they do daily handouts. Caitlin was very happy and very excited about the amount I was able to bring in, and she said it would really help them out, which made me feel very good to know that I was making a difference in some of these people's lives. And lastly, for my faith journey, this trip really brought me closer to Christ. Getting to work at the church was a great experience, and I loved every second of it. I feel it brought me closer to Christ because being able to connect with these people made me so happy and joyful. Some even wanted to pray with me, which is extremely powerful and exciting.